Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Chrome Tour golf ball from Callaway.
As first reported by Josh Carpenter of Sports Business Journal, Greg Norman will be stepping aside as LIV Golf CEO, and the league is actively looking for his replacement. Norman is expected to remain with LIV in a senior management position. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which finances LIV Golf, has not commented on any potential change. Rex Hoggard from GolfChannel.com joining us. Rex, what have you found out about Norman potentially shifting roles at LIV?
Wait, I had a chance to talk with one of my sources last night at LIV, and they told me that Greg Norman had been anticipating this for a little while. If you kind of look at the way that tour has evolved over the last 2.5 years, he has been moving more towards the operations side of the business. And what I was told is he'll move more into what's considered a commissioner's role, where he can focus on each tournament. He can focus on the players, on the tour overall. And you also look at what that tour has done over the last few months is they're adding to their C-suite team right now. They recently added a chief communications officer, a new CFO, an EVP, executive vice president of team-wide business. So you see them building out their senior management team. And specifically, you need to have someone in those roles as they go towards whatever is next for LIV Golf. They need to negotiate a new TV deal. They have new corporate sponsors they need to negotiate with, and each one of the teams is a business unto itself. So I think this puts Greg Norman in a better position and the tour in a better position.
So with all these changes at the C-suite level, as you put it, all of these executive changes, does that indicate that there is a long-term plan for this league, do you think, staying as it is? I mean, what message is that sending?
I think there's been support all along. Certainly when you look at the negotiations between the PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, and it's important to point out that Greg Norman himself has said from the very beginning that he has not been involved at all in those negotiations. So this is something that LIV Golf is on the outside of looking in. But if you talk to people on the LIV Golf side, there has been a degree of confidence that whatever happens with those negotiations, there still will be a LIV Golf. There'll be a team golf element to this. I think the governor of the Public Investment Fund has made that pretty clear. So in the short term, I don't see this impacting that. But as we get further down the road in these negotiations, clearly that could change.
Yeah, that was the next question. As far as any potential deal between the Public Investment Fund and the PGA Tour, what are we hearing about those negotiations? And if Norman is reassigned, how does that affect any kind of progress?
Wait, you and I could play a fun game with keywords right now when it comes to these negotiations. At the Tour Championship a few weeks ago, Jay Monahan used the same words we've heard all along. We've heard there's progress, that he's optimistic, that this is a priority. All of the keywords that we've heard. And look, he can't negotiate in public. He's made that perfectly clear. But I think we can add a new word to that, and that's deliberate. I think when you look at how the ebb and flow of these negotiations, I was told by a source that when they have face-to-face meetings, when the two sides get into a room and start talking about exactly what the future of golf might look like, that they do make progress and they feel like they're moving in the right direction. And then I've been told they usually take a week or two off after those conversations and the lawyers get involved and there's just more small print when they come back. And I think that's sort of a byproduct of how sweeping this negotiation could possibly be. The Department of Justice already has an investigation with the PGA Tour of possible antitrust violations, and they're only going to look deeper if there is some sort of deal between those two sides. So it's understandable that the lawyers need to be involved in this, and I don't think we're any closer now than we were just a few weeks ago when the commissioner said those words about being optimistic.
Rex Hoggard joining us on Golf Central. Rex, thanks very much.
Thanks, Whit.
PGA Tour Golf this week. Conditions brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. TPC Summerlin in Las Vegas. Par 71 playing over 7,200 yards. Bobby Weed did the golf course in 1991 with help from Fuzzy Zeller. 92 bunkers. Water in play on 4 holes. And there's also an official course dog. They should all have official course dogs. In this case, it's Finley, the 2-year-old Australian Shepherd. 4th of 8 fall events. The tournaments offer winners the same benefit as most of the regular season events. 2-year exemption on tour, spots in majors. Players also trying to stay within the top 125 in the FedEx Cup to keep full status. George Savaricas is in Las Vegas, where Tom Kim is the 2-time defending champion in Vegas. Only 2 top 10 finishes this year, George, in 23 starts. So maybe this is his chance to bounce back.
Yeah, Wade, it's been a long year for Tom Kim, and he had talked about it in the media center leading up to the start of the Shriners Children's Open, how he had played 9 consecutive events towards the end of the regular season into the FedEx Cup playoffs. At the start of that stretch, he was outside the top 90. His goal was to try and finish top 50, get in all those signature events for 2025. You remember that finish in Memphis ultimately came up just short in 51st. So he was pretty drained by the FedEx Cup playoffs. Then you lead up to the President's Cup and what was an emotionally charged week with Tom Kim and Siwoo Kim partnering up. We saw the highs, the lows of that week for the international team. Now he's had a couple weeks since then to decompress, come back to a place where he's trying to join the PGA Tour record books. He's won this event back-to-back times. If you flash back to 1999, this hasn't happened too often. Of course, we're going to see this name, Tiger Woods, on this list a lot. Tiger's won a number of events 3 times in a row. Stuart Appleby did that at the Century. Most recently, it was Steve Stricker, the John Deere Classic, 2009, 2010, and 2011. So this could potentially be a get-right week for Tom Kim. If he can somehow make it 3 in a row, it will completely change the narrative for what this season has been so far with.
Sneaky great story. Matt McCarthy, his first PGA Tour win coming last week in Utah after 3 wins on the Korn Ferry Tour. You were part of that broadcast in Utah. What was it like watching McCarthy? What are some takeaways?
The takeaways are it's just the exclamation point on what's been a career year for Matt McCarthy. Getting those 3 wins on the Korn Ferry Tour, getting the promotion to the PGA Tour, becoming just the second guy ever to, in the same season, to have 3 Korn Ferry Tour wins and then win on the PGA Tour with Jason Gore. You think of everything he's done so far. And I talked to him before the Sanderson Farms Championship, just on expectations for the fall. If he wanted to have any goals set prior to his full 2025 season, he said, I just want to enjoy these handful of starts to set myself up for 2025. Well, plot twist, you've kind of expedited your timeline for whatever goals you had winning on the PGA Tour in just your 3rd career start. With everything he's done this year, the name Matt McCarthy has really seemingly appeared out of nowhere, because if you look at the route that he had to take to get to the PGA Tour, grew up in Scottsdale, was an unheralded recruit out of high school, plays college golf at Santa Clara, wins just once, grinds on mini tours, gets on the Korn Ferry Tour, had a decided disadvantage off the tee. If you flash back 3 seasons ago, was hitting it just 290 yards off the tee. You can't really compete in the modern game hitting it that short with driver. 18 months ago, starts using the stack system. The next season, he's averaging 297 off the tee. Then this year, 302. So he added 12 yards. The distance gains are what have completely transformed his game to not only win at the Korn Ferry Tour, but to now be a PGA Tour winner as well.
Looking ahead to the broadcast this week, what are some of the storylines to follow? Maybe a sneak peek of what's coming up on the broadcast.
For sure, Whit. And Todd Lewis, Amy Rogers did a great job the last couple of weeks, where this fall we've been doing in-player interviews on Thursday. This week we'll have a bit of a twist. We're doing it on the par 3 17th, which is a demanding par 3 at TPC Summerlin. Water on that downhill par 3 up the left-hand side. Scorecard yardage 196 for the week. I'm really looking to Friday. The wind is supposed to be, call it 20 to 25 miles an hour, sustained wind gusts. Friday, it's going to be tough out here, Wayne.
That's all we need is a windy cut day, right? Just perfect. George, thanks very much.
Yeah.